Our next story is from Nigeria, where the Same-Sex Marriage Prohibition Act became law in 2014. It bans any gay marriage. Even friends, family, and supporters of queer equality can get arrested. This has pushed many LGBTQI plus Nigerians even further underground. As you can imagine, the idea of using a dating app in a country like Nigeria can be scary. Our reporter Ayodeji says you never know who's on the other side and what that will lead to. So in this story, he introduces us to his friend Jonathan, a mostly closeted gay man who had never used dating apps in Lagos. It just never felt safe to do so. But that all changed on a road trip to Ghana.
There are four of us, Jonathan and I
don't know if it was before or after the trip that we called the group Sex and the City.
There was another name. I think it was leading up onto the trip that we changed to Sex and the City.
Then two other friends, a bisexual woman and a straight woman, who were all Nigerian. We met and became friends a year earlier at the Chalewate Festival in Ghana. After a hectic year, another trip to Ghana felt necessary. It started with a WhatsApp group chat.
But I remember at the point we said, actually, all of us say we're all going to get laid. Like, oh, we're going to live our best debaucherous lives on this trip.
Jonathan in particular had been through a lot. He just quit a toxic job with bosses from hell. But most of all, Jonathan was battling with accepting his sexuality. He was 27, for the most part, closeted, and had barely dated. To make things worse, his brother had found out. Cue emotional torture. Sometimes his brother would try to pressure him into finding a girl. Other times, he would threaten to out Jonathan to their parents. Jonathan, in a nutshell, was stressed and needed some reprieve.
So, with regards to Accra, just what were you most looking forward to on this trip? Like, what was the best case scenario for you in your head?
Like, I was really looking forward to, like, okay, it's an open space. Like, I want to meet someone and just, like, kick it to them sexually, romantically. It doesn't have to, like, last long, right? But just to, have that experience as well.
In Accra, the four of us stayed together in an Airbnb. One morning, we had breakfast together around a large table. We invited some of our friends who lived in Accra. It was loud and fun, and we talked about everything. From accepting yourself as queer, to coming out to your friends. We talked about first kisses, relationships, allyship, bisexuality, open relationships, everything.
You said that conversation for you felt like it gave you permission.
So, like, seeing them be so free and so open in all of these conversations, right? And it just felt so much like a community, right?
The conversations were deep, then shallow, then deep again. We eventually landed on dating apps. Finding love or romance, very rare. Or just lost, more common. We swapped war stories on how dangerous using the app can be in the homophobic countries we live in. Jonathan listened more than he spoke. He was taking it all in. And then
I think I can express that I'd never been on the app and, just my fears around it.
Jonathan was right to be suspicious. When using gay dating apps in Nigeria, Ghana, or anywhere where homophobia is the rule, you are at risk. You could be ketoed. Ketoed is a kind of blackmail scam to trick and extort young queer people under the threat of being outed. So Jonathan was right to be scared.
And when you saw these stories or you read the stories, it kind of always leads back to, they met a person via the app, right?
Outside Nigeria now, Jonathan still had his anxieties, but everyone was determined to help him make it easy. Whenever he had to meet someone, we would make sure that he wasn't alone.
I downloaded it right there in everyone's presence, actually. Set up a profile and all of that, right? I know the picture I used, I didn't put my full face, but I took a picture with a jockstrap. And I think that was what I used for my profile picture.
Later that week, we all went to a club together. It was the ideal situation for Jonathan to test out his new dating profile.
I was just going in and out of the app. I wasn't really expecting anything anymore. And then this person clicked.
We're going to call him the guy. They exchanged a few text messages. The app showed that he was really close by.
And I think we kind of exchange pictures. I was just excited about they looked okay.
Then the guy asked Jonathan to come meet him in the parking lot, which made him nervous. It was his first real match. So he turned to us, his friends.
And I had to show GT. I'm like, I just speak with someone and they're outside and I don't want to go by myself. And I showed E as well.
JT and E are some of the friends from the house that had come with us to the club. E decides to accompany Jonathan to make his first match. By the way, E is straight.
And that kind of like felt really nice and safe. And we both walked outside and I saw the car and I opened the front door and I entered the passenger side and he stood by the door. He literally stood by the door.
The date in the car did not last very long. It turned out the guy was on the down low, as in deeply closeted. He hesitated when he found out that Jonathan had Ghanaian friends. He was scared of being outed, naturally. But a few hours later, he changed his mind. The guy was going to take a chance on a short fling with Jonathan.
And then this person texts that, oh, he's coming, that he's going to come. I sent him the address.
There were 5 of us in the apartment, and we made sure that Jonathan had everything he needed.
You were very excited. He gave me everything. He gave me a bottle of wine. He gave me
condoms, just in case things went really well. Then we got a day from the Airbnb gates. We showed him to Jonathan's room, and then we gave them space. I should tell you that Jonathan did not get lucky that night. Yeah, they kissed for a while, but ultimately, it didn't work out. But Jonathan got something else.
I felt safe in a lot of ways that someone knows where I am or someone knows that I'm with so and so person, that they are seeing the person's picture. But yeah, I felt safe. I feel like all sense of insecurity was already fading from the entire day. So I wasn't as jittered as I would typically have been.
Jonathan says he left Accra a new man.
I mean, Nigeria is quite different, right? Because you go back to Nigeria and, you're back in that space. But I feel like I just needed to overcome that initial anxiety around it. And then I could walk my way around navigating.
Today, Jonathan lives abroad where he uses Grindr frequently, mostly for hookups. His community of friends are still a big part of his dating life. Guardian angels, if you like.
I have a group of friends who are live locations are always on. And if I'm going to meet someone for the first time, I send them the person's picture, their address. Just, we do that with each other.
Since Ayodeji and Jonathan's road trip, Ghana has become less safe for the LGBTQI+ community. In early 2024, Ghana's parliament passed a bill that would criminalize LGBTQI+ people's identities and support for their rights. If signed by the president, the new law would impose 3 years in prison for people who identify as queer and then 10 years for supporting LGBTQI+ rights.